I updated it until next week now.
Cool. Should be up now then. Let's see.
I can check if it.
Hey, we're live. All right. Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
All right, JPM just hit that key pivot line. We got that megaphone descending down. We're looking a little red all of a sudden. We got this little bar here. If it breaks the angular here, I can see that coming back down to regression. UDAO's kind of running out of gas here. And if you look, we got leg 1, accumulation, leg 2, bullish measured move complete. We could see a quick pullback to about 56.40. SPY here, kind of same. We've got, this is the upper half regression line. I've got my fan lines kind of all laid out here. On the 5-second chart, we've got quick pullback. We're on regression now. Paint that one white. And if we break that, we'll start visiting measured move to the downside, 407.90.
More than 50% of the Dow is green right now, and its financials are all looking strong also. Except for JPM, which is
yeah.
But yeah,
looking bearish for the moment. I mean, it can change in pretty short order.
Yeah, and financials are as a sector are pulling up. Russell's pulling up. What else we got? Volume looks slightly bearish at the moment. ADDs are pointing up. Tick is pointing up. Going more bullish. Yeah, it would be. I would have a hard time shorting anything right now.
No, this is sit and wait.
Yeah.
Wait 5 minutes. Let the
Hey,
weather
you know
change.
what this is? If we look at the 30-second chart, this is the same trade as I'm not sure who that yesterday who was asking about it. That just gave an entry. Same exact trade as what he took yesterday. Gave a long entry on that pullback just now.
Oh yeah, right off the regression line.
Yeah.
Good eye. Quick run back, hit resistance here. We got Dow hopping off the 8 period here with a hammer.
Yep.
Back to resistance, 56.80.
Well, that was a weird open, man. With the
That is
Dow,
weird.
I've never seen that before. With the Dow just taking off like that, in comparison to everything else.
And meanwhile, SPY is just kind of muted. Not really doing much.
Looks a little bit choppy. That must look better on the 10-second chart than it does on the 30-second chart.
Oh, it's beautiful on the 10-second chart. We got range, break, measured move made, 1-for-1's done. Hell, this was a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
Got potential 1-for-1 coming down out of this reversal. Nope. It might give you a bullish 1-for-1 as well.
Yeah.
Bullish 1-for-1 would be 408.68, but bearish 1-for-1 would be down here to 408.28. Not a huge amount of range. And you can see this is a very subtle. You can't even call that a trend yet. So I mean, this is like, even with futures trading, this is kind of crap. To be honest with you. I have to blow it way up to see any price action at this point. So there we go. Met regression one more time. Kind of a muted day for trading. It's kind of awkward.
No, it's kind of.
It's just like, I'm used to explosive moves in the open, so I can actually grab some quick price action. But it's like, man,
Well, check out QQQ, man. The QQQ had a good move, man. Right off, made a channel in the pre-market.
Oh yeah, nice descent.
Same thing as it was, exact same play as it was yesterday. Created a channel in the pre-market and then broke through the channel with power. And made a.
Look left. That says blow off top all over it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the exact same. It was the exact same. Wasn't it pretty much the same? This is the same thing. I mean, it's a repeat of yesterday.
Yeah, it was the same channel.
Yeah.
Got a little volatility on SPY there. What happened?
Woohoo!
It's 10 o'clock. That's what happened.
Yeah. Is it? Oh, it hit 10.
Are we gonna
we
get
had
one
news,
for
man.
one? Oh, we might get a 1 for 1 here.
Oh, we had news come out today. I
There's
actually
bearish
finally
1 for
set up
1.
my little. I set up my little news desk on my desk. I bought a little. This tiny little. Well, tiny. It's 10-inch, like iPad kind of deal. Tablet.
Oh, PMI came out. Okay, actual.
Yep.
5142 versus 54.3 forecast.
Oh.
That's the Forex thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the Forex ticker.
I got it.
U.S. ISM services prices paid actual 59.5, forecast 65.6.
Look at QQQ taking off on that.
No kidding.
Dow, the massive jump on that one.
That looks like pop and drop bear flag there, sir.
It does, though, doesn't it?
Give that a second. It's right at a 50% retracement from the morning trend. Damn it, I can't get my... Give me the line I want. There we go. Right here. That would be a 50% retracement. Reject here. Down she go. Full measured move.
Yep.
315.70.
Yeah. Russell pulling back like crazy.
Dow's breaking over. 50% retracement of that rising channel comes right here to about 56.40. I love retracements, man. They're always dead on.
Yeah. No, man. I'm loving it. You know, I never used them before, and I've started putting them up a lot, listening to you, and it really is like they're spot on a lot of the time, man. It's a really good thing to.
Just
it's a good little tool.
For me, it's also one of the easiest and fastest things to recognize.
Yeah.
It's like,
I just always put up. I was always so busy drawing other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm looking at other trend lines, so I never thought about the 50%. But it's good. I need to figure out a tool so that I just get it up automatically. So if like I draw two lines, it'll just make a 50% for me.
Right.
But that's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, I wish there was just an app for that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly, it'd be good.
I mean, you can use the boxes and see where your measured moves are. That's fine. But when you come back for 50%, all you got to look for is the accumulation. You know, there was your measured move. There's your accumulation leg, and typically it's about in the middle of the measured move. Throw a line on.
Yeah.
There's your 50%.
Yeah. I wonder if that actually.
Guys, why is it in TradeAvate, right? If you're trying to trade QQQ, it says buy market, and then it says the contracts are not available for trading.
You need to have the data plan. On TradeAvate, you need to have the data.
So it has to be funded before I can.
No, it's not funded. It's not funded. You have to sign up for the data plan.
Yeah, for the options.
Which is like $10 a month or something. I don't know. $5 or $10 a month. And it won't take that. It won't take that from the account. It won't take that from your account balance. It'll take it from whatever card you put in to sign up for it with.
Right. Okay. So even if I fund this account, I still can't trade QQQ without the data plan.
You can't trade anything without the data plan.
Right. Got it.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
I wonder if it is included in the $15 plan with the.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. I can check that really quickly.
I never tried to trade options with it. I was just like, eh.
Is it a one-off or is it every month?
It's every month.
Monthly. Okay. Like what I did the first week is I paper traded that week, and then I went and traded once, and I made like $24 on a trade or something like that, and it covered my data fees. So I'm like, okay, I could keep doing this for a while. It's pretty easy. And then I realized, wait a minute, I get to sit here and stack 3-pointers all day long on a 10-second chart.
Let's do that.
Yeah, it just worked out better.
I'll fund this account and then I'll sort out the data stuff and then I'll
Yeah.
work out what to do it from there.
Have you already funded the account, or have you
No,
not?
I just tried to set up the transfer today. My bank and stuff is having problems, so I'm going to
Alright.
try and do that today.
That's right. You're in the UK, so I have the same issues every time I try to fund an account. It's you have to do it. Just so you know, you have to do it through a wire transfer.
Right.
So
That's
and
what I've
then,
just yeah.
okay, all right, that's good. And it doesn't allow you to use smart. There's SMC transfers also, and it doesn't at all. So if you have that ticked in, it'll reject it.
Yeah, and do you know who pays the fees for? Because I can pay my bank fees. Do I have to pay all of the fees?
You have to pay all the fees.
Pay all the fees, is that all right? Thank you for that. Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Yep. No
Here
worries.
comes a 1-for-1. Watch this break. Cool how I drew those lines earlier and Price just says, I'll respect your authority, sir.
It does, man. I love it, dude. It's awesome.
That was from back here. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, pretty cool.
Yeah.
So here comes a 1-for-1, bearish measured move. Half that move splits the difference at about 407.30. The full move takes you down to about 406.90 ish.
Yep. We broke. We're way below.
Q's following through. Be aware of
Everything's
the
fine.
half move, particularly because it is also the bottom of our liquidity zone. So pay attention to that. We're right there.
Yeah.
Dow
That
just
was a great-
split across that 50% retracement.
That was a great.
Boom.
Oh,
There's
you
your
didn't-
pause candle. Right where it was
Yeah.
expected to be, dude. How badass is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. And look at how look how amazing it is. You have the pause on the on SPY, but the pause is on everything else also. You know?
Right.
Well, actually, on NQ you have the lineup, but I mean the fact that QQQ. Oh no, on SPY. I'm sorry, that is the same. You know, the fact that QQQ paused at the exact same.
Right.
You know, it's pretty amazing the way that works.
I can probably trace it back to a similar liquidity zone. Instead of it being the bottom of a liquidity zone, it's actually the top of a liquidity zone for Q.
Yeah.
So it would be this guy here. Got this big fatty wick sticking out of the top of that candle.
Look at that. Look how good that works.
It's just, it makes things so simple. Well,
Yeah.
it's close. It's not quite there, but
Yeah. But I mean, that's the kind of thing that would make me go, hey, maybe we get a little bit of more of a leg down so that QQ can test the top of that. You know?
right. And like if this is our opening trend, we got a 1-for-1 here. 50% retracement was met for that. The full trend gives you a full leg. So this
Which would
becomes your
take-
accumulation. And that measured move, if it was a 1-for-1, would put you right on top of that liquidity zone.
Oh, I need to mark that out, dude. That's going to be a good one. That's almost a perfect little target, isn't it?
Seems to be. I mean, you'll get a couple pauses in it. And the other thing is, like, if you're watching a 1-minute chart, you'll know the direction change by watching what price does with the 8 period. And when the 8 period crossed the 20 here, you got a quick bull move. There was your 50% retracement setup, right? So now we've got a break over. We're in divergence now. As long as price stays under that 8 period, it's not likely to come back for a retrace.
Yeah.
There is one catch. The candles also tell you where your points are. So this bar here has division. So you have a 50% retracement and you have a high and a low, right? So you can draw lines off of all three positions in that one bar on a 1-minute chart. And you can have 3 different price targets for what you're looking at and expecting on this candle. If it doesn't reject the 8 period and it pushes through, you can get a quick move right to that next resistance point. But if it fails at the 50%, here it is here.
You didn't say it this time, but that's what you usually call a control bar, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And control bars, you know, if they're a big enough bar, they have their own 50% retracement line. And here's your support line. So if you're shorting this little wick, there's your 1-to-1 right there. One target, done.
And that actually, again, you had the perfect 50% retracement there, which is always nice to see.
Right.
which gave it a good reversal point.
And if you're looking at it on a 5-second chart, same. There's your bar right here. There's your half point. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all there.
Is that the half point? It is. That is the half point on that one, huh?
Right in there.
Yeah.
And then there's your base. It's all in, the 5-second chart. You can see the structure within the structure. And there's your 1-minute chart.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff, man. I love
That was
price
perfect,
action.
man. Yeah, that was perfect for that 50% retracement of that bar of the control bar there, man.
I mean, of a 1-minute bar, I mean, who looks for that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do.
Oh, you're getting me to look at it more also. I didn't, this is why it's always great to talk about the market with somebody else, you know,
Right.
because you get to the point where, there's always something to learn, you know?
It's
And,
not just learning from one person. It's like bouncing ideas off of each other, and that's the
Yeah.
whole point. You learn together as a community that way.
Yeah. No, I love it, dude. I love it. But this is, we're pretty bearish right now, right? What are we getting? So we have the possible, unless it turns into a little quick double bottom there, but I think it rolls over again. I'm thinking we test the top of that liquidity zone on QQQ. Oh, I got it on a stupid time frame.
So I use a lot of 1-minute charts and 5-minute charts to spot all of my setups, and I get my trade signals off of that 5-second chart, and I'm looking at structure within structure. So when I'm looking at, half of a big ass control bar, I'm going to verify where those price points are on that 5-second chart with authority. I mean, it is so simple. So like even we have this bar here, we had this pushed back up. There was a retracement between these two bars. That's 50% retracement of this channel here, right? Pretty simple. We got our 1-for-1 out of that. That's right here. That's what you're seeing. And then you come up and test it. Realistically, you could do it with just the 8 period because we rejected the 8 period. You got your pause here, resuming the trend. We'll at least owe it down to the bottom of the liquidity zone, which is right here. If it breaches that, we might get a full 1-for-1 out of this whole trend. This would be accumulation. We may get a pop or two, and then a break would send us down for the rest of that move, about 406.50. So it's essentially I'm always using more than one time frame to plot my trades, and I did this and honed this skill to a craft when it came to day trading SPY options. So like I would, off this rejection here, I would have probably taken a put position here. I didn't do it today, but take a put position here and run it down. This wouldn't scare me, but this would probably give me a signal that it's going to pause and retrace. I would have gotten out on that spinner knowing where that liquidity zone is, taken profit there. And in this position here, I probably would have resumed another put position. And the way I would do it is I found a sweet spot that typically I would just look at price of the options because I knew about what the delta would be and I knew about what I would expect for performance for price action percentage return on that particular options contract. So I would look, and this is back when SPY had 3 weekly options expirations. We had Monday, Wednesday, and Friday expirations. I would go anywhere from 3 to 5 days out to expiration. I'd be out of the money no matter what amount it would be at whatever given time of day it would be. I would look between 38 and 42 cents for the cost premium on that contract and just grab it because I didn't have time to think about the delta and everything. I just knew about where the delta would be on those contracts that far out of the money. And typically they'd be like, anywhere from $10 to $20 out of the money, ridiculously out of the money. No chance in hell they're going to expire with any value. I don't care. I was just day trading them. And the percentage swings is what I was after. So I'd grab a contract here. Let's say I potted at 40 cents. On this pause, I probably would have had over 100% return on this thing, and it didn't have to move much because my risk was low. So I'd be able to close that for around $80 or 80 cents. and then I would take another position in another strike, whatever was trading between 38 and 42 cents, again on this rejection, and ran it down. Here, I probably would have taken profit on this position because it didn't want to break that liquidity zone. I probably would have got out at the first sign of this green flash here. Wouldn't have been much of a move. I would have maybe made 20% on that, possibly 30. The variance is the fact that if you're running the delta on these, it's probably anywhere from like 0.06 to 0.07 if you're trading at about that premium rate in this entry. And by the time it gets here, it's like probably going to be like a 0.12 to a 0.16 delta. That delta rose exponentially, and thus the effect of price on that position made a huge percentage return on my risk. That's what I would do with that. I would just streak the trend. Anytime I saw a pause, if it was going to be assumed that it would be a 1-for-1 and resume, I'd go grab another one and write it down. And if I saw that I was not going to make a big profit here, I'd have just closed it. And then I'll just sit on my hands and wait for the next setup.
Good plan, man. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
And then once I learned how to trade futures, it was just like a no-brainer. I could just do this all day long, scalping 3-point moves over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, man. But you know, it costs. You know, there's like I was thinking about why I don't like, why it doesn't suit me to trade that quickly. You know, and what I realized is that there's like, you know, when you're in a trade and you have that, like I don't care, you know, how long you've been. For me anyway, it's not going to matter how long I do it. There's still going to be a stress like that. Like gets into my head, you know what I mean?
Right.
It feels like hyper vigilance, you know, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also about controlling the stress and getting into it. So if I was taking 3-point moves like that all the time, it would be like just like the toll it would take on the cortisol in my brain would be pretty intense, you know. So it would wipe me out.
It definitely, at first, until you get used to doing it as a routine, it does put a bit of stress on you. My comfort was knowing that my risk was defined in the options. I couldn't lose more than I paid for the options. And I had controls to where I wouldn't be, hurt taking a loss on that position if I was wrong. With the other part of this equation, why I would trade options with such low delta is the other part of this factor is even if price rips the other way and totally goes and puts me in the wrong side of the trade, that low delta may take a few ticks going my way to make a good profit, but going against me, it's so low. Go the other way on the contracts, like a couple strikes away from a 0.06 delta would be like 0.05, 0.04. It wouldn't exponentially drop as much as it would exponentially climb when price was going against you. So
Yep.
it would take, and it would give me an opportunity to cut loss long before price had a chance to destroy me. And at most, I would lose 20% because I'd have to sell it to bid, and usually there's about a penny difference between bid and ask on SPY options, particularly. So if I was to take a $40 risk on something, and if I lost like $8 to $10 on it, it's not a big deal. I can reserve my capital on that, but my risk to reward ratio is huge because I would be cutting losses so quick on those things if price was running against me. Even if it ran a whole 50 cents against me or even $1 against me, it wasn't going to hurt me that much. 20% was my cap on loss, and I'd never let it get there. I would just kill it very quickly. And the idea is 20% loss versus at least 100% return. I mean, do the math on that. All you have to do is be right most of the time, and you're going to do very well.
I think that's a great way to look at it, man.
So that's the other part of with futures contracts, you can't really do that because the multiplier or the delta is fixed. It's just per tick. So if price moves against you really suddenly, you can get burned for a lot more than 20% very quickly. That's why we would suggest, if you're going to run a small account and try to trade futures with it, it would be better if you went with options instead and at least learn the process very well first. Plus, it takes a hell of a lot of stress out of it because your losses are much easier to manage versus futures.
If I'd have known that, Jeremy, I would have studied options. But no, saying that price action is price action, either way you look at it, isn't it? Options is just the tool that you use to make the money out of, extract the money out of the price action. So yeah, okay. I'll do that then.
It just gives you leverage, but with a defined risk. And it also, you don't have to overthink it with options. I know there's a lot of moving parts with options. You got a variable delta, you've got time decay, you've got IV crush, you got everything working against you in the trade, no matter what, if you're on the right side of the trade or not. The idea is that you can take it with a lot less risk, and you don't have to worry about all those moving parts. You just have to find your sweet spot. And for me,
Am I right in thinking though that I could maybe make a couple of bucks a day with QQQ and SPY? You know, nothing amazing, just 10, 12 bucks or something like that. Or is that a bit out of my? Is that a bit?
That's
realistic.
Well within reason. Well within.
Okay, good. Okay. I need to start scalping and doing something with real money, Jeremy. I don't want to make lots of money, just like 10 bucks a day or something,
Yeah.
7 bucks a day, just so that I can see that I'm making progress with real money, and then I can assess my own psychology then.
That's the whole point. You're building the process. You're building the fortitude of mind or soundness of mind to be able to control that position and not be stressed, be able to be just completely relaxed and just meld with the chart. Basically, you're just trading the price action. You're just trading the chart. You don't have to really worry about money. When you get there mentally, you've already got everything ready to go. In the meantime, you can be practicing the process as well by trading those options, and it really reduces your risk.
Yeah, exactly. So what I can do is I can scalp a bit of the price action using the QQQ or the SPY. Just make 10 bucks a day, nothing special, and I could be learning options in the background, learning how to apply them, and then I can run it by you maybe before I set it up, just to make sure I'm not doing anything stupid, and then maybe just sit and wait and see what happens.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Like I say, I'm not asking for advice. I just want to make sure I'm setting up the trade properly so that I'm not doing something really dumb.
Right. No, for sure. I totally agree with that. And as I was saying with that, I mean, it really it puts you in a better place risk-wise, so that you can maintain that mental stability to not be so worried about money and just think about trading a chart. That's the transition you need to put yourself through, to where you're not even thinking about the money in it. You're just trading what I would call your own personal butter zone. You're comfortable with the risk. You found the niche on what kind of delta you'd be looking for. And it goes against the rules with what I do, by the way. That 0.06 delta where I look for. Nobody looks at that. They're all looking at the standardized rule of thumb was you don't want to trade an option with anything less than 0.3 delta. Like, you know how fast 0.3 delta can move against you as well? Be on the wrong side of that a few times, you're gonna blow up an account. Be on the right side a few times and maybe you'll tread water, but you're not going to get anywhere. Whereas if you go and you find the lower delta and you just focus on those little base hits, like you're saying, a little bit at a time, 10 bucks a trade, whatever, you build a process out of that, and then all those base hits, they do add up. And when you're very smooth with it, you're very comfortable with it, you're not stressed about it, you're not worried about it, it really changes the way you trade to the best possible outcome.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
By the way, sorry to cut you off there, Jeremy. Happy birthday, I believe.
Hey, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday, Jeremy. Sorry, I completely forgot with everything that's been going on. I did wish it to you in the chat. Happy birthday, guy.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to say I'm getting older, but not much better. I'm just kidding. At least if I lower my standards, my expectations don't have to. There you go.
That's the way to do it.
Exactly.
So, I'm not,
Beggars can't be choosers.
There you go. That's it. I got a message from somebody asking me if they could customize a 5-second chart on TOS. I don't think you can. I know there's maybe a data point where you can purchase a premium plan with TradingView to do so. But
What do you mean by customize?
for TOS, can you get a 5-second chart on anything?
you should be able to, right?
I mean, you
Yeah, I
should,
don't know.
but
I don't know. I've never used TOS before.
Yeah, they're actually.
I couldn't honestly find a way.
I'm gonna look it up now just for the sake of it. I'm curious.
What could you possibly customize on a chart on a 5-second chart?
Well, just to be able to get a 5-second chart.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know that you can do that on TOS. I'm a complete noob with TOS. I'm like literally messing with it for the first time starting a couple weeks ago. I've been messing with it, and only barely at that. So
Okay, so the thing is, this is what they're saying. If you want a 5-second chart, you can't get it. They actually don't have second charts supposedly. But what you can do is you can actually use a tick chart and use a really low tick, and
Right.
you'll approximate and you get a really close approximation of a 5-second chart actually of second charts.
and that,
So like you use a 5 tick or a 30 tick or whatever you want.
when I first started messing with short-term charts, when futures would be somewhat volatile, not like through the roof, I would go with like a 200 tick. And then like in after hours trading, I would go to like a 10 tick. So
Yeah.
that can work for you. If price action's slow, you can adjust the tick rate. So I know you can get tick charts on Webull here too. Like you can go, well, right into here, you can go like 1 tick, 42 ticks, 133, 233, whatever.
I've never even tried trading with a tick chart.
And it
don't know
works.
if
This is reasonable. It's a little faster. That's a 42 tick right there.
Let me see.
Nice little blow off top. Boom. Pull back.
Yeah.
We're at support. Let's see if it breaches. You know, we can go into the 233 tick is going to be similar to
That's
a 10-second chart.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty close, man. I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing to trade, but it's pretty close, man.
And then if you want to go real quick, you can go to like a 1 tick chart. That's psycho.
Yeah. That's insane.
Those are just dots, but let me show you a trick. Oh, HA candles. You get the instant the trend changes direction.
Oh, wow. That's actually pretty cool. That's actually
That's crazy. What?
Yeah.
What is that?
I love
Whoa.
this.
What is that?
That's a
I
1 tick
like
chart with
That's
HA,
awesome,
with
dude.
HA candles.
hiking
Oh.
action.
That's fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I trade that? Maybe if I watched it for enough time.
Could you zoom out a little bit just to see what happens when you get a 200 crossover on that thing?
Oh, whoa.
You can't even zoom out
wild.
with that, can you?
That's as far as I can zoom out.
Oh, wow.
Well, we got a trend here. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You know, we're right at the 5-second regression line right here. That's second regression.
Oh, wow.
Run that as angular.
Wow, look at that. Oh, I don't know if I could trade that.
Oh, I can't. That's too scary, man.
I don't know if I could trade that.
I mean, you
thing.
could maybe catch this as a quick trend, like under that 8 period, and grab
that, the 200
very fast scalp. But dude,
200 crossover? You could use a 200 crossover on that.
you might need some illicit drugs to be able to control your brain enough to do this.
Hardcore amphetamines, dude.
Yeah,
Like
sounds
pilots use
bad.
it, you know what I mean? Give me 3.
Definitely not recommended.
Yeah, no. That's not the way to do it.
But you can still see your patterns here. I mean, there's a quick 1-for-1. That's done.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but it
look
took
at
like a
the
half a second.
minimal movement here. I mean,
Yeah.
what was the price change on that? That's let's see, 407.20. That's a 1 point. That's a half a point 1-for-1.
Oh my god. I don't even think you can trade that, can you? Yeah, there's like
You
a
wouldn't do
minimum,
anything with it, no.
Yeah. So what? You're on 1 tick? Yeah, that's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts. That was a quick
I don't-
breakover.
I don't think they have tick charts on. Do they even have tick charts on? No, no tick charts on TradingView.
It's really cool to watch, though. It's
Yeah.
entertaining at the very least. I mean, you'd have to shrink size to really see the scope of it, as far as like
US
it's not
DOE
really
EIA
big
ethanol
moves.
stocks 25.136 mil BBLS, minus
I wonder why
0.391
they
mil
don't have tick charts on
BBLS.
TradingView. Tick chart.
US DOE EIA ethanol production 1003 mil BBLS, plus 1 mil BBLS.
Bearish 1-for-1 on Q here was met right here on this doji. That's that big control bar again. So we're bouncing here.
And I guess you could kind of see the that bounce in that tick chart actually. No, a while ago.
Well, I mean, I could throw this on a 1 tick.
Let me see.
Boop. There's Q on a 1 tick.
Oh,
That's psycho.
wow, man. Yeah. But I mean, that's on 1 tick. What happens if you put it on 10 ticks, dude? I actually.
For some reason, Webull doesn't let you do custom ticks. Next level is 42 ticks. Oh, wait. Hold on. What did I just see? Ha! You can do custom.
Oh.
But it defaults to the 42.
Oh,
wait a
okay.
minute. Oh, no. It's here. There we go. We're on 10 tick.
Oh, that makes more sense. That's not like.
Yeah, it reduces the psychosis quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's reasonable.
Yeah.
This 1 tick, though, man, that is psycho.
That was noisy.
Let's see if we can go to 10 ticks. There we go. Hey, that's manageable.
Oh yeah.
And then we could use the 5-second chart to establish our setups, and then trade the 10 tick.
Yeah. That's actually an interesting setup, dude.
It's doable.
It's still. I mean, it might even be good, man.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It's an interesting. That's an interesting trade setup.
That's the other thing I did kind of take to very well when it came to trading the 10-second chart with Tradovate, is that it became exciting to the point where it was engaging. Like I could do it very well because it was just the entertainment factor was there. You know, it was actually exciting. A lot of people would say, like, you know, when trading feels boring, you're doing it right. Well, try it on a 10-second chart. It's not so boring anymore.
Yeah, take the time frame down to like a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you can scalp those little 2 and 3 pointers all day long and just roll them. All those little base hits, man. And as long as you catch the setup at exactly the right point and you get the short time frame where you get that little quick bounce and you can scalp it, awesome. But then recognizing the setup, here's your setup on a 5-second chart. You got possible 1-for-1 to the bull side about 408. But what is this 10-tick chart telling you? We're accumulating. We have the 1-for-1 here. We're back at retracement. So yes, it is possible to bounce here and run to that 408 1-for-1. And that's a 5-point move from here almost.
Yeah.
But you can draw on it, I suppose. Let me see if I can draw fast enough. And if it'll
I don't
keep
even
my
know how-
drawing.
We should be. I mean, you should be able to chart on a tick chart the same exact way as you chart everything else, right? I mean, there's nothing that says that
Nothing says you
charting
can't.
wouldn't work.
Yeah, you can.
I'd have to. It's one of those things you'd have to like do it for like a few days
Right.
to actually see how it plays out first. But it's an interesting idea.
Let's see, we're testing support one more time. Everything's slowed down all of a sudden. It's thinking.
It must it must take a lot of computer power to do the tick chart, huh?
No, it's not that bad.
No.
No, we're good. I'm running at about 17, 18%.
Yeah, but you have a hardcore graphics card, man. That's
Well,
I mean,
that too.
you're
Well, it's not totally hardcore. It's just a 1050 Ti. It's not really.
oh, okay. It's not
super
like
fancy.
the,
There we go. Bouncing. Can we get a 1-for-1? I just want to see if I can get a 1-for-1 off of a tick chart for signal and a 5-second
Yeah.
chart for confirmation.
yeah. Well, we get. We're getting the 200 curving up there, which looks like,
Right.
and we're getting the accumulation under the. That's also your 200, right?
Right.
I mean, that's an interesting signal in itself. Just that we're getting accumulation over the line, under the line, and over the line on the other one.
Right.
I mean, that's a perfect retest.
I love that 200 on every time frame. That thing has
Yeah.
just been a godsend. We're attempting to break it. We've still got to break it here on the 5-second chart to confirm the move. 50% was
everything looks-
met. It dipped a little bit below it here, though, so we could actually fail this move and run this down
Yeah.
back to regression.
Everything's looking pretty bearish otherwise.
Yeah. Let's see here. Where is... So my GPU, my graphics card's running at like 20 to 25%.
That's not bad.
Doing this, short-term charts. 3 of them.
Yeah.
I wonder if I add one, if it does it. Throw like a 1 tick on here.
Just get the system, cool to blow
And
up
now-
the system. On them.
It does affect it. Now it's running 30%.
Oh yeah, so it's 10% for another tick chart. That's
Right.
Yeah. So, and we have the Russell came up and just tagged the bottom of the channel from yesterday, actually.
Anytime I grab and move a chart like this, it runs
Mhm.
it up like that's pushing 40% just for moving the
Oh
chart up.
wow! Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The processor never exceeds 20%, though. That's doing good.
Yeah.
Mind you, I have
Well,
an i5 and it's overclocked. It's supposed to run at 2.9. I've got it cranked to 3.9. So, but I watch the
Well,
temperature very carefully.
That was a pretty cool test, though, because then we know that you know that the graphics are running on the GPU anyway.
Right.
So that's a good one.
Yeah. And the GPU can take it.
Yeah.
It might make the fans a little loud, but it can take it. In
still have
fact,
to
I
get
can
mine.
hear him humming right now.
It's always nice when you actually like push the system a little, get it running a little bit,
Right.
My mother used to, when I was a little kid, we'd like be driving on a straight road, and nobody else any place, and there was no crossroad. You know what I mean? So she'd always like get the car up to like 100 miles per hour. She said, "It's good for the engine. We gotta clean it out." And this is the same thing with. That's probably not true.
It is. It does clean all the carbon off the valves and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Cook it off. Sometimes you get buildup on the pistons. It'll clear that off too.
Uh-huh. I always thought it was bullshit. Look at that. I'm gonna have
Can I
to
use
call her until
Dynaport the law, Jeremy?
Hold on 1 second. Sorry. It's spring
Good.
break. Kids are in the house, nagging me for this or that. I heard Victoria say something for a second there.
No, I was just saying, can I use that excuse in the court of law? Oh, I was just cleaning up my piston heads, like, you want to have a mile an hour.
Yeah, good luck.
my mother always made sure we were someplace.
Yeah,
Nobody.
where no one's looking. It's
Yeah.
I wouldn't try that in this state. They're pretty hard on speeders in this state, but
Oh yeah.
there's no law that says you can't accelerate with a little gusto, but they like you to respect the speed limit.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm surprised. I thought Virginia would be one of those places where they said, we're kind of free. Isn't it the Virginia? What's the Virginia motto again? Is that no? It's
I mean-
don't step on me, isn't it?
Well, the don't tread on me thing's kind of here, but the other thing is they call it the Virginia is for lovers is the state motto, I guess. So
Oh, I like that. Oh, that's nice. That's a
Right.
nice state motto.
I do know that their traffic fines are a little steep here. I haven't had one
Mm.
yet, but I've heard that they're not pleasant. So
Oh, I've never gotten pulled over.
break over, bearish 1-for-1 on the 10 tick chart here. I'm gonna switch this back to a minute chart if you guys don't mind.
Yeah. No, completely.
Because that's what I want to see is where we are with the liquidity zone. Because we can get a 1-for-1 out of this and breach down to the next zone. That's what I'm
Yep.
talking about down here, 405.50, 405.80.
Yeah, that's worse.
It looks like
That's
we're
still what I
about
was
to.
worried. Yep.
But yeah, I'm all for spirited driving though. I'm a very spirited driver, come to think of it. So I like accelerating. I like surprising people. Well, it's like you'll get some kid next to you at a red light with some fart can Honda. And it's like
Revving up.
I call my I have a Highlander hybrid with the V6. That thing's a sleeper because it'll do 0 to 60 in like 5.8 seconds. It hauls ass,
Oh, nice.
and
That's fun.
that's if you launch it, like you're holding the brake and spooling it up. But it's hilarious because I'll just the launch on the thing is just like at the limit of traction, so it's like just gives it its all, and
Yeah.
I'll be like 2 or 3 cars ahead of a Honda Civic at a red light before he lets the clutch out. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's fun, dude. It must sound like a beast, though, huh?
That's quiet, stone quiet.
Oh, well.
Yeah. It's kind of weird the way Toyota does the whole CVT constantly variable transmission thing with they use a combination of 2 electric motors and 2 planetary gear sets, and each motor can also be a generator at any given time. So they can use one to put a load on the planetary gear to where you can increase your speed of the transmission, or they can use it as a motor to increase your torque on the transmission. And then they just balance between the 2 motor and generators to flip the load on the planetary gears to change the output speed. So it's a CVT without a push belt or variable pulleys or anything. The motors act as the pulleys. So
Oh, wow.
if you try to launch every start, when you take off from a red light with an actual CVT transmission, a hydraulically actuated CVT transmission, you're going to blow it up. Don't do that. There's a finite number of times you can launch that thing. But with the electric CVT, you can do it over and over and over again. It doesn't hurt it. Doesn't even change the way it wears.
So we got the ES putting in new lows, huh? And
Yeah.
NASDAQ also. Now the Russell's following along. The Dow is still trying to
1-for-1 done on the Q, and we're right to the expected top of that liquidity zone.
Yeah.
It never
Awesome.
ceases to amaze me how awesome those things work. I mean, literally, pick a wick, draw a box. How simple could it be? You know?
Yeah. And what was that move? So when we were saying that was a 20-point move on the futures contract. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
And it was easy to predict. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
we're calmly
$50
talking
right there.
about other crap here, telling stories and knowing where these price targets are.
Yeah. That's the happy time. We have a double bottom possibility. RT here. If it wants to do it.
So the half leg move is right about here, about 406.80.
Yeah.
And
Look
then,
how that times out on everything, dude.
yeah,
Half point move on the SPY, QQQ testing that. So if I was in this short right now, I would have taken profits about now,
bam.
and then just waited for that next liquidity zone.
Q just nailed that liquidity zone with gusto.
Yep.
Look at that bar.
Yep.
Very cool. UDOW sitting there right on the 200. Half
Yep.
leg done. We'll expect a pause candle here. And then we'll see if it continues through.
No, it's going to continue through, dude.
Yeah,
Look at
Q's not holding back. We're gonna print
No.
another bar here. Looks like, well, unless we get a spinner here, which we could.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the expected pause candle beginning to emerge on UDOW here, right
Yeah.
on 200. Yay! So we got some decent price action after all today, even though it was fairly muted on the open. We knew where the 1-for-1 was. We're done there. Got maybe one more move all the way down to liquidity, and if Q gets loose, the thing about liquidity zones is they love covering A to B. A to B, that's a big ass move.
Yeah.
And always know that whether you have a channel or a liquidity zone or a wedge or whatever it is, know where the middle of that thing is. It will be very significant. So I'm going to draw a pivot there right at 313 for Q. It's about the middle of that liquidity zone. So if I'm trading A to B, sometimes it'll stop and reverse and then break down. Sometimes it'll accumulate there and give you a 1-for-1 to finish the move down. Sometimes it'll give you a little pause there and finish the move down. Sometimes it will just play in a channel through the end of the day and then break down or up. But anytime you have liquidity zones as well, just divide them. Yeah, I've got this one. It's a little on the low side, but this has been a key pivot for a while, this 408.90.
Yeah.
So it's kind of got a bit more upper room than lower room, but it still respects it very well. This one here, we can just throw, a key pivot. Probably 404.80 to 404.90 even. Strange. Why is SPY hitting 90-cent pivots? Kind of goofy, but I wonder if the futures will correlate to the nearest 10 in that zone.
It does, huh? I think it is, actually.
Because we know the skew's been off a little bit, because it used to be you could literally move the decimal point to the right one place on SPY and have your ES futures number. Not anymore. And I wonder if that particular skew sets up for being half liquidity zones exactly instead of being weird pivot zones.
No. Yeah, kind of. It does. Actually. That was pretty perfect timing on that. Getting out and top of that liquidity zone, though.
Yeah.
How would you trade this right now? See, this is a moment. This is kind of one of these moments that makes me not really sure, right?
Two ways to have traded this. One, we if I was streaking options here on SPY, for instance, I would have been out in this move right here, waiting for this setup. Being that this was a quick pop and drop bull flag, if I was trading futures, I would have said, okay, well, there's a double bottom. As soon as it breached R1, I would have maybe gone long and looked for where I'd expect a rejection point. At this point, it was a 200 period. This could have been a decent reverse button trade.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back off short here. Or if you're trading options on SPY and you waited for this setup because you didn't want to try to scalp the upside. When you're trading, you always bias your position on the trend. So like, instead of trying to catch those little pullbacks and stuff, you try to go short on a bearish trend and long on a bullish trend, and you don't mess with the in-betweens. I do, because I can trade a shorter time frame. With options, it's a little different story though, because this little move with my butter zone, you might get 20 to 30% out of that. Maybe as high as 50%, because this is that time of day where IV crush and time decay start to really eat the options chain. Yeah. So I probably wouldn't have taken that long trade, but I probably would have taken the short trade, because this would have been a pretty easy move. And then right when you got this flash of green, kill it. Would I streak it again? Probably, because right when it rejected that 8 period, not this bar, but this bar, would have been an okay short. But this amount of time would have probably had me at break even, sitting here spinning my wheels until it finally broke the liquidity zone.
Yep.
So that would have been like, if I went in with original risk, I'd been okay with that. But if I would have switched into a higher risk, I probably wouldn't be okay with that. So that's
I'm thinking
it.
that when we hit on the QQQ, though, when we hit the top of that liquidity zone, would you have flipped it?
No,
No. See,
not
that's
at
what
all.
I've been thinking about. I'm thinking
So-
about doing this always in kind of trade. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like, and then just like flip it with so you flip your direction. But it's not something. It's something I'm playing around with the idea, but that I haven't actually tried yet. And I was trying to think if I'd
So
bounce off the top of the liquidity zone kind of thing.
knowing where those zones are, I hardly ever flip them
Mm-hmm.
because I know that it can still make a move out of that zone. Until I can confirm a reversal at the base of a zone, I don't necessarily want to flip it.
Yeah.
In this case, we had that continuation. You know, the setup overall for SPY, we knew this zone was pretty much ran yesterday. I traded that A to B very nicely yesterday. We accumulated in the lower half of that zone overnight. So I was expecting a bearish move today. I was expecting a bearish trend today. And the reason being is because it couldn't quite break that key pivot area. And right at the open, it tested it and failed. Went right on down. Then I went and identified the next zone, and that was this guy here. And that's where I picked that off of, I don't even remember. Yeah, that doji right there.
Yeah.
So I picked that, dragged it over. I knew if it was going to respect this zone, this would be the next zone, and there would be a gap there. And here we are crossing that bridge right now. There's 1 for 1 right down to it. So instead of flipping it, trying to capture that bull move or that retracement move, which you could do, it would be prudent to wait for the break of the zone and go short. So probably right on this bar here as it tucked under the 8 period and broke out of the zone, we knew it was likely to cover that distance to the other zone. So prudently, it would have been better to wait for that break.
Yeah, but see, like this trade right now, you know what I mean? I would have gotten so I would have been looking this to get out top of the liquidity zone, and then I wouldn't have been short. Should I go long now or should I sit? I mean, basically I'm sitting out right now, so I'm not doing anything on it anyway. But it's this space in the 3 right now. This looks like, and we look at your 5-second chart. We have
We have the
Morningstar
1 for
kind of
1.
thing down there.
Yep.
And then we have, we see that QQQ potentially bouncing off the top of that. We have a little bit of the measure. We have basically the measured move on SPY, and we have UDAO with a retracement, possible retracement of that control bar, 50%. So it would have been a question for me, like, I could go for a quick long here or sit on my hands. Right now, what I'm doing normally is sitting on my hands but it's but that's a reasonable long play also, isn't it? For the quick bounce on this?
You can, but note that the trend is still basically bearish until it breaches that 8 period.
Oh yeah, no, we're bearish completely. I'm just thinking about the quick bounce now.
Right.
I'm not thinking about
I mean, this pause, if you could have scalped this wick here,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a 2-pointer at least.
it's not really worth it anyway.
Yeah, it's better to be biased on the other side of that. And then here's your,
Yeah.
your completion is likely to hit this other liquidity zone.
Yeah.
So because that has a much higher probability than catching a reversal here, you're better off going short on the rejection here.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a much, much more
Yeah,
prudent
no,
move.
I'm with you, man. I just want this idea of like an always in. You know what I mean? It seems
Right.
like an interesting.
I mean, you could
seems
be
like an
always
interesting-
in. You could play with the reverse button on every one of these little pauses. But I mean, you've
Yeah.
got to be Johnny on the
gotta be
spot
fast.
and finding those.
Yeah.
And I can do it. I'm happy to do it. In fact, I've done it quite often. But if you're a newer trader, it's much more prudent to always be biased on the trend. So if you
Yeah.
recognize a bearish trend, you know where your target zones are, you know where all your setups are for 1 for 1, 2 for 1, whatever it may be. You're more successful with riding that trend. And you know the old adage, run the trend, and the trend is your friend until the end.
Yeah.
Here we have a bounce. We're testing that 8 period again. So if we're going to go long, this is not a very good spot to go long because of knowing where the two targets are,
Yeah.
unless you see an absolute reversal. And this can still fail. This can still be
Oh, yeah,
drawn out
100%.
into a bear flag or whatever.
Yep.
Give me 1 second.
It just seems like a good reversal spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But no, completely. The main trend is obviously bearish at the moment. But yeah.
So watch for a tweezer here. Anyway, today I'm probably going to bail at about 11. Go do some
Oh, dude,
birthday
that's now,
stuff.
man. That's you should definitely, man.
I'm going to take the kids for a bike ride today if I can and
Oh, nice.
go down to the lake. I actually did 11.2 miles yesterday.
Oh, nice. That's awesome, dude.
I went nuts riding my bike yesterday.
And you have uphills also, right? So that's not just
Yeah,
that's
it's
not just
hilly.
11 miles. That's hilly 11 miles. That's a difference.
I mean, my average speed overall was 8 miles an hour if you do it time for distance. So it's
That's
chugging up a lot of hills.
yeah, yeah, man. Did I ever tell you I biked up the Alps one time?
Oh, wow. That's a
Yeah,
hell
that
of a
was
ride.
intense. Yeah, that was in the last. I don't know what it is in miles. The last 50 Ks, where it was like a 45 degree angle. It
Wow.
was insane. Yeah, and then I did the 300 kilometers. What is that? 200 miles. Going down the other side of the Alps. I did 200 miles in about 5 hours.
Wow.
So it was nuts. Bike from the top. What was the pass called? It was Brennan Pass. The Brennan Pass down to Lake Como in 4 or 5 hours. That was
So
nuts.
the longest bike ride I've ever done was when I was in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I rode from Novato, California, all the way to Stinson Beach and back. And the route I had to take to get a bicycle on ended up being a little bit more than your driving route. It ended up being like 62 miles overall.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That was a hell of a ride.
Yeah. I did 2 long bike trips. I biked from Stockholm, and then I biked to Rome,
Oh, wow.
and then I biked back, and then I biked back. And that wasn't. Or I biked up to Amsterdam, and I took a train from Amsterdam. 'Cause I had a job at a music festival that I had to get to, and then I biked from Stockholm up to the north, as far north as you can get in Europe, the most northern point,
Ah,
up to the North Sea, and then I biked down to a spot in Norway. So it was like 1,500 kilometers or something.
that's a bit of a ride.
That was fun. It was a good trip.
5 days straight, man, I couldn't do that.
Oh no, man! I did it. It was I didn't. It was slow, man. I did it in. I was biking for about a month.
I would have what's known to the cowpoke as saddle sores from that.
Oh yeah, man. Oh god, I had no. You get the special underwear. You have
Yeah,
special
yeah.
underwear, and they have like an extra seat in the underwear. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're very
Yeah.
helpful.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like t-shirt and a pair of shorts kind of bicyclist. I'll run a good seat, but
Yeah. That's awesome. No, I don't. I'm super slow, dude. I don't. I never get. I
wow.
take it super easy.
And riding through rural Vietnam, nonetheless, that's hilly. I know that is.
Rural Vietnam. That would be fun.
That would be a fun ride. Sweaty, but fun.
Oh yeah.
Are we printing another bear flag here? Looks like.
Yep.
Looks like QQQ setting up for A to B, at least down to 313 pivot.
Yeah.
UDAO's got that look like a pocket pivot where it gives you the quick pop up and break down.
Yep.
That's also a channel, so be a little vigilant on that. That can reverse on you real quick. Descending channels love to retrace. And there's your retrace line. Let's draw the rest of it. Boom.
It definitely looks bearish.
Whoops.
You think QQQ is going to get to the bottom of that do the A to B? I mean, it's hard to say at this point, but it looks like it, doesn't it?
It's looking like it's going to complete that move to the pivot at least.
Yep, 50%.
Right into the middle of it. But I mean,
Dude, man,
there's
go
nothing
celebrate
saying
your birthday, man.
there's nothing saying it won't reverse here, but
Yeah,
it's more likely to finish that trend.
yeah.
It's where all the business zone is, I guess. Someone called it that, the business zone. It's
Yeah.
many people have different names for different trading things. I know people who call that the trader's action zone or the TAZ. But the trader's action zone is based on price action more than finding liquidity zones. So I just stick with the liquidity zone. You know, it
Yeah.
seems to make sense. There's liquidity here. Trade the zone. Duh.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way to do it. All right, man. You know what? I'm gonna jump off also. Have a great day today, man. And yeah, enjoy yourself. And I hope you guys get. I hope you guys get the good spot. I'm gonna. If the birthday thing doesn't work, say the Swedish ambassador is gonna call spot, and I'll call them with a Swedish accent
There you go.
to hook you up.
And thanks for the birthday wishes, guys.
Have a good
Yes,
one,
I'm
man.
out of here too, guys. Happy birthday, Jeremy. Take care, everyone.
You too, man. And it's also welcome the person in our chat who was talking about the 5-day straight bicycle trip through rural Vietnam. First
I need
day,
to check that out.
First day in the chat. Welcome.
Oh yeah, welcome to the group, man.
I think you're gonna love it here. Yes, that 5-second chart is fast, and I can trade it on futures. I do very well with that. I also will trade options on it occasionally. But the best thing to know is that I primarily use it for getting exact signals to trade my 1-minute chart when it comes to SPY at least. So like I can get a lot more efficiency with my trades by knowing exactly where those zones are. Here's a micro double bottom, R1 breached, target 1 reached, second target's up here, just wicked it. Watch for a break over here to continue this bearish move. There's still business down here to about 406, so just kind of be aware of that. Yeah, I think it's a good time to sign off because this is that time of day where things tend to just kind of creep along and move sideways. We had some good trades in here, some good bear trades. That blood was definitely tasty. And, you know, if we start to break into a trend here, just real quick, that just says blow off top all over it. And, dude, that daily chart doesn't lie. There's definitely some room to run down. We could see as far as 396 today is very possible if you get a very quick drop down. So watch for quick news to come out and maybe say something, whatever it may be. If we drop out of the bottom of this liquidity zone from that little doji here, you can almost certainly expect it to run to the next pivot very quickly. So just kind of be into the old adage of the market loves to take the stairs up and the window down. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as you look at things. And thanks for all the birthday wishes, guys, and have a wonderful afternoon. I'll leave my computer running all day. I'll leave that way you can kind of at least see what I'm thinking in case I get back to my keyboard. I can run a quick couple of trend lines, stuff like that on there. Get some call outs and stuff like that. Otherwise, if I'm away from the keyboard, I'll usually go and hit the reset chart button so it keeps things centered so you can kind of watch all the dope that's already on there and kind of make your hopefully make your trading a little easier for you. All right, with that, I am out. I'll see you guys later on. And again, thanks for joining us on YouTube. Be sure and hit the like and subscribe and hit the bell. Get some notifications when we're on. Above all, we're looking at mainly just keeping things to the point where we just do this, and the reason we even have a fee for our membership is just to keep the lights on. It keeps the business side of the Bullish Bears alive. The traders here, the moderators here, we trade for a living, so we make our money trading the market. Mainly the bare minimum we run is to be able to keep the lights on and provide a little bit of growth. Eventually, we will start, basically promoting from the ranks. Like as people begin to become profitable traders inside of our group as members, we'll reach out to them and make the offer. Like, hey, you want to be a moderator? Well, you can teach people and pay this forward and teach people how to trade as well. So that's kind of how we roll with things. So our fees are always very low. We keep them just bare minimum to keep the lights on. And if liking and subscribing is a cliche thing to do on YouTube, above all, I ask, tell your friends. If you have friends who are interested in the market or maybe struggling to learn how to trade price action, send them our way. We will take them under the wing, whether it's for free on YouTube or inside with the benefits you get from being a member. Whatever. We just like to be able to help people and teach people how to trade. That's our main purpose in life, is to focus on paying forward everything we learned to get here. I mean, we're trading for a living. We're living the damn dream, and that's the whole point. That's what we want to see people do, is be able to have that opportunity. Thanks again for joining us, guys, and have a wonderful afternoon. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.